Paul, a couple of players to check on, unsurprisingly. We'll not go through the entire list, but Jayden Bogle, has his knee managed to settle down at all?
No, so they've had to... some of the metal had slipped, so when they've investigated with the scans, and it was just catching at the back of his knee, so they're happy with his repair. Repair's fine. So they've had to open him up and take the metal work out, so he's going to be, a number of weeks. I would have thought it'd be after the World Cup now.
That's such a shame for him, isn't it? Having got so close and finally got some minutes back.
Yeah. Listen, how he's rehabbed, how the guys have taken him through that process was like ahead of schedule and almost perfect. So we couldn't believe how far we've gone. And again, with the knee, like I said, and need to get this across, that the surgeon did everything's fine. Just a little bit of the metal work now. He's doing obviously a different training and playing games. It's just been catching slightly the back of his knee, so they've had to remove it. And they've had to, rather than keyhole, they've had to open him back up to take it out. So it's going to be a number of weeks. So listen, we know the surgery's been a success in what could have been a difficult knee problem, which is great. It's great to have him back. But it's a bit of a false dawn, like for us as a team and Jayden, But we'll at least we know that when he's back this time, it'll be for good.
Berger, is he going to make this weekend?
No, he'll be after the World Cup. So because we all saw the incident, it didn't look good, and it's the same, ruptured an ankle ligament. Doesn't need surgery. Everything's really strong around it. But yeah, it was as bad as it looked, if you get what I mean.
Anel, could he be back this weekend?
Yeah, Anel's good, Anel's been training.
And in terms of anyone else on the list, are you expecting anybody else back for this weekend? I know Ollie McBurney's clearly back from suspension.
Yeah, Ollie's back. Flecky's training, but we need to take his time with Flecky, and he's back training, but we're looking after him in terms of contact and things. So yeah, that's it at the minute. Yeah,
everyone else is still a few weeks away. Obviously,
George is back.
Yeah,
George Baldock's back. Obviously training today. We'll see. He seems fine. We think he's fine, so that's a good one.
You've talked a bit about the struggles with getting good minutes on the training pitch so far this season, and with the numbers that you've been able to do. With the fact that you didn't have a game in midweek, have you managed to do anything kind of more this week?
Yeah, been a lot better week. Using a lot of the 23s for bodies and making sure we can get the setup right and things. So yeah, I've enjoyed this week better, but that's just purely selfish thing. But we've been able to rest players or look after players who needed things ongoing, but still had the opportunity to work on things and have some good sessions. Yeah.
A set piece is one of the things that you've looked at after last weekend, because I know that was the frustration.
No, we've, like I said, I mean, if I speak about Eags and Reece in particular, they're two who really know the roles, and by and large been fantastic at them. But there were lots of things wrong with the set plays because of the team we put out, which we have looked at, which probably go unnoticed, but how clearly we have the roles, whether you're marking, whether you're edge of the box, whether you're a zonal player, whether you're up the pitch. There's still always big parts to your roles, and yeah, we didn't excel at them. But as I said, I'm not surprised because I know the team we put out. But the message is, if you want to have minutes, if you want to be in the team, if you want to get picked ahead of someone else, we, the team, we have to know that you know your job when you go on the pitch.
People always say that you learn a bit more about your team and your squad when you face a little bit of adversity and you face a defeat. Clearly injuries have had a big influence on the team that you picked and the players that are out there, but did you learn a little bit more about certain people last weekend?
No, not really, not what we didn't know. I think how we've used it is that in particular, looking at and showing the reasons why. So I would have been surprised if we'd have been really good or I'd have been happy with us without the ball. I would have been surprised, and I'd have thought, I would have made a lot of positive things, but we were what I thought we would be without the ball. And as I said, I think I had in my head we would have had to dominate the ball and be really have so much possession, and and create a hell of a lot of chances to win the game. You know, that's what I was thinking. And we weren't. The first half, like I said, was a bit of a basketball game. They really tightened up and turned it into that type of game where, yeah, we didn't do enough to win. You could have gone either way, I get that, but we didn't do enough to win. I thought the third goal was harsh, as I said on the day. Yeah, so I wasn't surprised. We had to change the shape. We had to field the team, as I said, and I'm saying it now. The players get me. If everyone was fit, it would have been a long way from any type of team that I would like to put out. But it doesn't mean that we go on a pitch and accept that, and that's been the message. It's not been learned. Did I learn anything? No. But we used it as an opportunity to reinforce things and show where we need to be better, where individuals need to be better and what they need to do better in the game, whether that's strengths and how to influence the game positively, or think areas they need to improve on to stop the other team.
James McAtee was one of the players that clearly got another opportunity last weekend. What have you made of him so far in his loan spell, and what are kind of the main areas that you feel he needs to improve on?
Yeah, so I thought he was much more positive, and gradually has been. I think Luton was an eye-opener for him, and we said it'd be good, and it will be good, as this loan will be good for him. But right now, James, we want him helping us win games, you know, so we're going to be impatient, we're going to be put pressure on me, on myself to get him doing that, and he's putting it on himself. But certainly in each of his introductions since that, we've seen him get gradually more and more positive, seeing it more in training. So there's him acclimatising to the league, acclimatising to us and what we want, and recognising how tough it is, first team football, how tough it is, and I think he gets that, and like I say, he's responding to it. So yeah, we're expecting a lot of things from him, and he's expecting them from himself. But that's the way to be, you know, not accept where we are and just keep pushing him. And like I say, we think he's responding well, so hopefully we'll keep him going in the right direction.
Some suggestions that he's a little bit lightweight at times. Do you think he needs to maybe, you know, bulk up a little bit more? Is that a side to his game to be able to compete?
I think if you look at that game against Stoke, I thought he was one of the ones who was competing physically. He didn't necessarily win all the duels, but he was certainly not backing away from them, that's what we want. That's your starting point. That's a good sign. So yeah, that's a good thing, and something that, well, speaking to him before, that's one of the things we were wanting to experience and get better at, because it's been labelled at him before. It's been thrown at him as been coming through. Obviously a different style of football at City, and especially in academy football and the way their games go. So he's been really aware of that, and it's one of the reasons that he wanted to come out and be exposed to it and see exactly what people are talking about.
Been some talk over the last 24 hours, the potential for the 3 p.m. blackout on a Saturday with the new rights deal that's going to get looked at to be removed, you know, not a definite at all. I know we've kind of talked in the past about structural things within football, and you've had various opinions on it. Is this something that you'd like to see stay, particularly with the potential impact on the lower leagues and non-league and grassroots and everything else? Yeah,
so from a personal point of view, I would. A bit of a traditionalist, and yeah, I would from a personal point of view, but in reality it's going to be defined by the TV deal with the EFL. And I know there's been talk as well, and I don't know the ins and outs too much of financially running a football club, but if I did, I'd probably be fighting for my own TV rights and my own TV deal, you know. And if again, there's maybe some owners, clubs licking their lips at this, thinking it could be a way to spark that again. But if the EFL get the deal that they want, I don't think there'll be too much change. But if they don't, we know what makes the world go round, don't we?
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of the kind of wider game, the impact on it, does football need to still take that into consideration, essentially, trying to keep ensuring that there are opportunities there for as many people as possible to go and watch live football rather than sit at home and watch it on the telly?
Yeah, you've got to have live football. I think from my point of view, players' point of view, yeah, you want as many at the games as possible. Now the product on TV is great, it's really good. Even just looking at the angles that you can get sometimes. So if you're wanting to do work on a game of TV, yeah, on the broadcast pictures, we might not be able to see what we want in terms of the whole pitch, but when they've replayed everything, you see every angle that you can. So the coverage is great. But from an experience and what the game should be like, for me, you should be there, and if you're a player, you should be there, regardless of all the things they're doing to try and take that away with how it's refereed and VAR and, really kill the atmosphere. But yeah, live football, players want the fans there, they want to experience that. But as I said, I think there'll be a bigger issue if the EFL didn't get the TV rights that they wanted, and it did open up that debate of how to protect the clubs who can't get the TV money. Again, yeah, we were going to all sorts then, but then has it been unfair to clubs with a massive fan base or do market themselves really, really well, that they haven't been able to maximise their potential earnings as opposed to someone who don't pay attention to that? So there's always the argument at the minute that it's been unfair to certain clubs. So yeah, it would certainly open up all that again.
Yeah, be interesting to see how all that shakes out. In terms of your next game, Blackpool, really interesting team this year. They had some good results against the top end of the division. Also, had some mixed results too. What are your thoughts on them coming into this? Because a lot of people will probably look at it on paper and say this is a good chance for you guys to get back to winning ways.
Yeah, every game's a good chance. That's how we look at it, but we also know every game you've got to be at your best, and you just said there, Blackpool against teams who've been fancied have had some real good results, and there've been no pushovers in any game, so we'll prepare the same. Like I said, it's been good that we've had a week together on the grass and been able to work, so we're looking forward to it. Well, like I said, we know it's going to be tough, we know they're going to pose us problems, we probably know they're going to do what all the other teams have done and try and slow it down. I hope not. I hope it's not as blatant and the referees let them get away with it as much. But part and parcel, they're not going to come and roll over for us, so we have to be ready.
And Gary Medine off the mark as well for the season. He's a player that wasn't at the club long, but clearly played an important role at a key time for the club, didn't he?
Yeah, and obviously played with some of the lads here as well, so he'll be chomping at the bit to play. Yeah, coming back to Bramall Lane as well. Different, you come back against an old club, you want to, regardless of your feelings, good or bad for an old club, you want to do well. It's one you look out for straight away. So, and they're a different type of team with him in it. He poses a different threat to the other type of forwards. So we have to be mindful of that.
Thank you, Paul.
Can I just ask a big blunt? I know we've talked about sort of